Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Slingshots. Now, the full title of this puzzle is actually Shifter Lines 112 or 112. And we've actually played another Slingshot before, which is why I think I've skipped this puzzle. Because, it's been published 9 months ago, something along those lines. Hasn't got anywhere near the level of attention that it deserves. But regardless, it's just surprised that we've got multiple puzzles with the same title. I think that's kind of what caught me out here. Not surprisingly, the thumbnail is all about slingshots. I guess there's lines that are shifting. We're shifting somehow this magical line of yellow towards purple. It'll kind of make sense when you take a look at today's puzzle and rule sets, which I'm just going to crack on with. I think after this, and I hope you guys are going to keep me honest about it, we would have basically completed all of the equality cages, shifter lines, and shifter dot puzzles, equalite as well, from gUBBLOR. That doesn't mean we've done all the gUBBLOR puzzles. He's actually published some that are not part of these variants. So we may actually take a look at these at some point as well. Anyway, let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule set with Shifter Lines 112 Slingshots by gUBBLOR. You can clearly see the shifter lines. They're kind of hopefully going to change. What these shifter lines are doing, we'll figure it out. I'm not actually a big fan of slingshots. I think I must have said that before. So don't be surprised if I struggle a little bit with it. Rules-wise, we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and then every 3x3 box. Nothing unusual here. Shifter lines. So adjacent digits within the same box on a shifter line share both parity, as in even/odd, and polarity, as in low/high. So if this cell is a 2, for example, this cell would have to be a 4, so that they're both even and low. Whenever the line enters a new box, either the parity or the polarity shifts. Never both, and I think explicitly in the rule, never neither. Shifter lines can never have a 5 on it, and digits may repeat on lines. So if I go from the 2 and 4 here, I could essentially shift parity, in which case I would end up with a 1-3 pair in here, or I could shift polarity. So rather than low and odd, I would actually go with high and even, such as 6 or 8. And that would be a valid set of pencil marks for this for this shifter line. Right, slingshots. What does it all mean? So if an arrow is present in a cell, the digit in the cell the arrow comes from appears in the grid in the direction at distance of n cells, where n is the digit the arrow's cell. So thankfully, I always find this language very complicated, and gUBBLOR has actually given us an example here, i.e. if the arrow in row 8, column 1, that cell, was a 4, and that means that a digit in row 8, column 2 would have to appear in row 4, column 1. So these two cells would have to be the same. And essentially, the slingshot is coming from a cell, and it would have to repeat along the direction of this arrow, and it would have to be 4 cells away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, these two cells are going to be the same. Simple, I think. Anything else to say here? No, that's it. As always, if you want to play along, link will be in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. So obviously something about slingshots, because they're essentially indexing a digit that is in that direction, there's an inherent limitation about how big these digits can be. Essentially, it's either 1, 2, or 3 cells away. It can't be any bigger. It would be off the grid. This one could be 1. No, it has to be outside of the box because it's essentially, it's grabbing whatever this cell is. So it can't be pointing in here, otherwise I'd be repeating it. It can't be in there. So it's at least 1, 2, it's 3, 4, or 5. And it can't be 5 because it's on a shifted line. So this is 3 or 4. And obviously they're going to have to be different because we're talking about 2 different digits. Interesting. Okay. Let's keep looking for ones that are essentially kind of near the ends. 1, 2, 3. Again, it's one of these three cells. Again, 1, 2, 3. This one, again, it can't be a 1, otherwise it would repeat in the same box, but it could be 2, 3, or 4. Yeah, that's another 2, 3, 4. It's either one of these cells, so this is 2, 3, 4. This can include, I can't include a 5, so 1 and 2 is in the same box. 3 is okay, 4 is okay, 5 doesn't work because it's on a shifted line. So this is 2, 3, 4 is, no, not 2. 3, 4, again, can't be 5 because it's on a shifted line. Interesting. So these are actually a lot more restrictive than you might think when you combine them with shifted lines. Now, when I shift across to this end, so it can't be 1, it could be 2, 3, 4, can't be 5, 6, or 7. So 2, 3, 4, 6, or 7. I'm kind of pencil marking these because, like, let's be honest, I have no idea what else this is going to be. Kind of struggling with this being a 1, by the way. If this is 1, essentially it's saying whatever this cell is pointing in here. So let's say that's 2, that would mean that's 2, and then suddenly that would have to be 1. Yeah, so actually it is technically possible. Never mind. This cell we can complete is either 1, 3. If this is 1 or 3, this is 1 or 3 because it's for the shifter line. And this would have to be, if this is 2, this would have to be 4. Now, whatever this cell is, we know it can't be on either of these two. Because remember, I have to shift. And I can't repeat the same digit. Sleuth finally waking up and understanding the point of the puzzle. So this cell has to be a 3. Therefore, these cannot be 1, 3. Therefore, this is 2, 4. And therefore, that's a 4. This is clearly not a 4. This is 2 or 3. So it's pointing at something in here or there. Whatever it may be pointing at. 2 means that 1, 2. So whatever this cell is in here. Half tempted to actually color these. I am half tempted to. And I'm also half tempted to essentially lock out or complete the slingshots that we've used, so I don't end up kind of revisiting them too often. Right. Have we got something similar going on here anywhere? And that was really the only one, wasn't it? Do you have anything else? Not really. So if this is 3, excuse me, that would be 1. If this is 4, that would be 2. And then it's pointing to 1, 2, 3, or 4. One of these two cells has to be 1 or 2. Interesting. Now if it's 4 and that's 2, that would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would break. This is really difficult to spot things. I don't feel like I'm approaching this in the easiest way. Let's try this. So essentially, shifted line, if this is 4, that would have to be 2. Well, already can't be 2. Here's a much easier thing to do. Just do a bit of Sudoku sleuth. Come on. 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3. That's got to be a 1. This can't be 1 or 3. That's a 2. So these two cells are pointing towards the same thing. I'm just going to keep picking things at random and just circling them whenever they're done. Now, this purple cell cannot be clearly in these 3 rows. It would have to be 1, 2, 3, as in one of these cells. So it cannot be 2, 3, or 4. It's got to be 6 or 7. So if this is 6 or 7, and you can see that the shifter line in here is actually shifting polarity. So if this is 6, that would be 8, that would be 4, and that would be 2. If this is 7, that would be 9, that would be 3, and that would be 1. And that's that shifted line fully pencil marked at this point. Now, if this is 1 and 3, that would be 1, 2, 3, and that would be a 1, which it isn't possible, actually. Sudoku sleuth, just do more of it, please. 6 and 8, and therefore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's purple. And I actually now know for sure that purple and blue are different. And I can say this slingshot is done. I will say 1, 2, 3, 4, that this slingshot is done as well. This would have to be 7, surely. Because essentially, these two are pointing at the same cell. So that's got to be 7. No, hang on. What am I doing here? So the purple cell has to appear in here, apparently. No, it has to appear somewhere in here. Pardon me. And then whatever this cell is has to appear somewhere in this direction. Yes, so they're pointing to different things. Excuse me. So I'm going to go with green. And then this cell is pointing somewhere along here to another green cell, which cannot be 1, 2. It could be 3. It could be 4. Can't be 5 because essentially that would have to be a 1. It can't be 6. If it's 7, this feels weird because essentially it's pointing at purple, and therefore this cell would have to be purple, and it isn't. And it can't be 8. So it is 3 or 4. So one of these cells, 1, 2, 3. So one of these cells is green. Interesting. 1 or 3 in here. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to 7, 9 or 2, 4. And 1 is somewhere in here. There's too many options. This is not 2 or 4, that's a 3. So 1, 2, 3, and these two cells. And I know they're different from green and purple. Admittedly, it could be blue, but I'll go with yellow. And then this one is done. And actually, this yellow is going from that slingshot pointing back at here. So I'm going to say that's got to be a 3 because it's 1, 2, 3 pointing at, yeah. And therefore that's 4, and therefore that's the green cell, and that's not green. Excellent. We also know that green is not 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6 or 8. So it's 5, 7, or 9. And that's fully pencil marked. And then purple, am I right in saying again it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, or 8? It's again another 5, 7, or 9? A different 5, 7, or 9? This is not 2 or 4. It also isn't 1, 3. So this is a high digit from 6, 8, 7, 9, and therefore this is another 6, 8, 7, 9. This is too many. Let's keep going. This cell, so can I do, obviously I'm shifting, so this is either 2, 4, and it's not 4. So it would essentially be either 2, or I'm shifting to 7, 9. Can 7 even work? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The answer is no. That's 2, that's 4. And therefore that's 1. I don't need the colors really for that. I've kind of used it already. What other slingshots do we have left? So essentially I've got another 5, 7, 9, then 6 and 8. And I don't know what this is. Yellow is in one of these 3 cells, which could be 1 or 8 as well, in addition to obviously being this square, so we don't know yet. Shifter lines, no, it's shifting multiple times, we don't know. 2 or 3. This is not 1, 3 anymore, so this has to be 6, 8. It's starting to become very restricted. So again, this cannot be 1, 2, 3, or 4, and it has to be whatever's in the blue cell, which is not, which is a shifted line and therefore cannot be 5, and it's not 6 or 8, I'm only left with 7, 9, and therefore these two cells have to be 7, 9. Yes, I think that was correct. Then I shift when I come to here, and it's either 1, 3, and it can't be 6, 8, because 6, 8 would break this cell. So this has to be 1, 3, and that's 1, that's 3. So 1, 2, 3, these two cells are the same. I am going to color them. I'm going to come up with orange. This is another 6, 8. And this cell is done, or this slingshot is done. I'm kind of rapidly running out of slingshots and shifter lines, aren't I? So one of these is a 3, and it's clearly this cell, and therefore this is the other 5, 7, 9. Half tempted to actually color it. Yeah, I'm doing it. Red, and therefore there's a green 5, 7, 9 with a 1. That's the 1. That's the green 5, 7, 9. Therefore green is in none of these cells, none of these cells, and it's got to be in here. And it can't be a 7, 9 pair, it's 5. Hopefully that made sense. So green, green, just Sudoku. Green is not 2 or 4. Green is left at one of these cells, but it can't be 7 or 9. These are all 5s. And there's a 5 in here. Then we may as well just pencil mark this whole lot. This is 1, 5, and another 6, 8. I'm not going to pencil mark the whole lot. And let's think about this. Can this be 1? So essentially, like I'm left with the non-orange 6, 8 in here, and not 5. So it's 1 or 6, 8. And I'm actually thinking 1 is quite tough. Because if it is 1, oh yeah, actually no, that's fine. Whichever one I was essentially pointing the fact that the 3 is unavailable. It doesn't matter. I only need to fill in one cell. So if it's 1, I'm shifting to 2, 4, 7, 9. The 2 is not available. One of these could be 4, one of these could be 7, 9, and that's absolutely fine. If it's 6, 8, I'm still shifting to 4, 7, 9. Yes. Interesting. The 4 is not here. Yeah, so it can't be a 2, 4 pair because the 2 is not available. And it can't be a 7, 9 pair because it would create a triple of 7, 9s. So it has to be a 4, and this has to be a 7, 9, the other 7, 9, whatever this one is, which is actually one of because yeah, now that we know that blue is this and purple is that and all of that, these are not 5s, and therefore blue not being purple is actually red. So I am going to replace red with blue, and therefore I know that this is red, and therefore this is, sorry, I didn't mean red, purple, and therefore this is purple, and we know purple is not 5. Wow. One of these is the purple 7, 9. We'll come back to that. I suspect the colors are really unnecessary, to be fair, but I've already gone with it. So 1, 8, this is 5, 6, and this is 1, 5, 8. Not sure I really want to pencil mark all of that. This can't be pointing at 3, can't be pointing at this 7, 9, but technically, and it can't be, and so, okay, so what is this cell? It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 6 or 7. Can it be 7? would essentially point to this cell. And then purple would be 9s. Nothing stopping that. And then blues would be 7s. Again, nothing stopping that. Short answer, yes. And then that would be blue, that would be blue, and then blue would be one of these two cells. All of that seems achievable, so I'm just going to move on. So I think we've kind of used most of the shifted lines at this point. So I'm going to do Sudoku. Somewhere in here is a 2, a 3, and then another 7, 9, the blue 7, 9. And therefore these are 1, 5, 8 to complete the column. Yeah. And therefore this is another 1, 5, 8. And it can't be 5. So this is 1 or 8. Therefore this can't be 5 either. Can't be 1 either. Pardon me. There you go. 8. Therefore none of these are 8. This can't be 8 either. Turns out 8 is actually orange. So I am going to replace orange with yellow. This has to be a 6. These are not resolved. I don't need the corner pencil marks. I need a purple 7, 9 somewhere in here, which is not 4, not 5 or 6. This is the purple 7, 9. Presumably that's the blue 7, 9, because I need another 7, 9 in here. Then I need a blue 7, 9, which can only be in there. And then this is a known digit, 5 or 6. I say a known digit. It's not a known digit. It's 5 or 6. And this is 1, 5 or 6, not 5. Just 1 or 6 again. Yeah, that 1 or 6. Interesting. How am I breaking this pattern of 1, 5, 6s? Kind of struggling to see it now. That 5, 6 still sees all of these, and these obviously have all of these. Okay, so we will figure it out. There's another 5, 6 and a 2. This is not 5 or 6. That's the 2. This is the 5 or 6. That 2 means that's the 3. So it's pointing at 1, 2, 3. It's pointing at a 1 or 5 in here, and it's not 5. It's got to be a 1, 1, 2, 3. That's 1. That's 6. That's 5, and then we can resolve all of these. Just so that I don't revisit. Done. I think that is almost all the slingshots done. So these two are the only ones remaining. Pardon me, I was just double checking if I've used all of the shifted lines, like nearly. Right, we've got a purple 7, 9 in here and a 5. Okay, don't know. 5, 7, 9, and therefore this is 6 and 8. Yeah, that's 6, that's 8. Then I have a 7, 9 pair in here. Of course I do. Then I have another 6, 8 pair. Of course I do. This has to be the blue 7, 9. This has to be the purple 7, 9. We don't actually have colors for 6 and 8, so I'm going to ignore that. So what is this cell? It's not 1, 2, 3, 4. Technically can be 5. It's not 6. Can it be 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. So this is 5 or 7. And these two cells are the same. And I am going to use yet another color now. Orange. I am going to get rid of this. Which means this orange cell is in one of these 3. Yeah, no idea. Is that 2, 4 pair? Looks it. I think it is. Just looking at the rest of the row. And then orange is not 2 or 4, and it's not purple. So this is the orange cell. what is orange here? What does it see? It sees 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't seem to see 5. Sees 6. Sees 7. Sees 8. Sees 9. It is 5. And therefore I'm going to say it's green. That gives me 6 in here. And I actually had that 6 earlier, had I paid attention. That 5 points towards that 7. This is now a 9, and it actually allows me to resolve the blues. They are 7s, and the purples are 9s. And this is another 5. I can't resolve this 6, 8 for now. 2, 4. I need a 6 and a 3. That's 3, that's 6. That is a known digit. I'm going to say 9. I need a 2 and an 8. This is a known digit. What looks like 4. 2, 4, 8, 2. Right, 6 or 7, whatever this cell is. Hang on, let's just pencil mark them. I know this is a high digit, 6, 7, 8, or 9. It is 6, 7, or 8. It is not a 7. This is 6 or 8. Therefore, that's got to be the 7. This is pointing towards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, pointing towards the 8, which resolves. And I think we've got it. Much smoother than yesterday's puzzle. Well, it's the same day for me. Next day for you guys. And if I've not made any mistakes, 6 for the finish. It's a lovely puzzle, gUBBLOR. It's surprising how so many different variants are quite complementary to a lot of the equality gauges, shifted line, shifted dot variants. Just surprisingly how complementary they are. And once again, you've created another fantastic fusion. And I'm sorry I missed it for so long. Hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle and the video. And I'll see you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.